Welcome to The Right Atmosphere, podcast for writers, brought to you by Atmosphere Press, the only publisher that puts rewarding and meaningful author experiences above all else. I'm your host, Hayla Alawi. On this episode, we'll be talking about how to manage creative chaos and develop a writing routine with our guest, Danielle Blum. Danielle is an author, traveler, and creative entrepreneur whose work blends raw human emotion with gripping storytelling. With a degree in English literature and over 15 years of extensive travel to 40 countries, Danielle draws from a deep well of lived experience to craft stories that are both visceral and hauntingly beautiful. Her debut psychological thriller, Fragments of Affection, releases this October. Beyond writing, Danielle is the founder of The Bloom Creative, a boutique brand offering custom travel planning, creative products, and resources for writers. When she's not working, Danielle can be found planning her next adventure, experimenting in the kitchen, or sipping coffee in a sunlit cafe with her notebook close at hand. Thank you so much for joining me, Danielle.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also excited because I know very well, very intimately from talking to many authors that, writers are constantly struggling to find the time and the motivation to finish their manuscript or whatever, writing pursuit is in progress. But ultimately taking that next step toward publication, this is a tale as old as time for us in publishing and speaking to writers. So with that in mind, and also with diagnoses of ADHD on the rise as people are starting to understand how they can manage the way that their brain works, the challenge of achieving these publication goals is becoming that much more difficult. So I'm really excited to hear from you. If you could lay out for us, how do you recommend a writer can design a planner to manage their creative chaos and reach their writing goals?
Okay, so I love this question. I guess I'll start with I was undiagnosed with ADHD for my whole like up until recently. So figuring that out was a huge wake up call, and it was really nice because I was like, oh, there are tools, but then I moved to Europe where those tools and medications are not as accessible. So I really had to figure out a way to organize my brain and my thoughts to stay on track to get things done. So I spent 5 years actually making a planner for not just my life, but also writing. And it really, you have to figure out what works for you. So for me, like routine, like I have to do things in a certain order. Like as soon as I wake up, it's like wake up, do my morning pages, do my workout, do my writing. If I do those three things, then I can set myself up for the rest of the day and I'll be so much less all over the place. But making a list like for the week of doing something, because like on my little, I'll just show you example, I have like these days. So it's like they're just like lines that you could put here. So I'll look at my week and I'll put like Monday, I need to do this, 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 and this. But then Monday comes around and I'm not really feeling doing that. So I'm like, okay, well, Thursday's activity looks really nice. So I'll do Thursdays instead. So as long as I get everything in my week done, it doesn't have to be necessarily on that day. But so then it's like I'm kind of using my energy levels of what's exciting me and what's not. Like if I don't feel like writing like a press release today, but I want to do my Canva graphics, like, okay, I'll switch that up. And as long as I get it done, then I don't really have too much pressure on like getting it done on that exact day, unless of course it's a deadline. And in that case, it's like triple highlighted. And I usually give myself a 3 or 4 day deadline before the actual deadline. So just in case I need to work some things around. So really trying to think, dial in what works for you. Like if there's a routine or doing a ritual, like going into my office and lighting a candle and sipping my ginger tea, then my brain kind of was like, oh, it's time to sit down and work. Like we're going to write 1,000 words now. And it's kind of just hacking my brain a little bit into the routine that's like, oh, okay, this is what we do now. So this is the next step. Instead of me sitting at my computer and being like, whoa, let's go crazy. Like, let's paint on the wall over here, which I did. I now have a whole finger painted wall because I was not paying
Mm.
attention to my planner. So,
I see. Yeah. I mean, I love this idea of it's almost like routine, but without rigidity, which I
mhm.
think can really make the brain become creative in ways that it wants to defy that kind of rigidness. So I'm really drawn to this idea of flexibility in the way that you plan your tasks while still having that structure of the broader week and then figuring it out day by day. You also mentioned, this is an ADHD supportive planner and that helps you with your ADHD. Do you think that people have to have ADHD to benefit from a strategy like this?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think it's just so for me, like with the scattered brain, like in here, there's like a 2 pages that's just for a brain dump. So like any idea or anything I get, I can just put in there. And then it's like, oh, it's like I have free time today. Like, what was I thinking about last week? And I can go look at it. And then all this inspiration comes that I totally forgot about because I had no reason to think about it. So it's kind of just like keeping your creative well full, and then having it easily accessible. But I think this planner is great for anyone. Like I have like a habit. So it's like here's the week page, and then I have the habits on this side, which I leave blank and I can fill it in. But I was trying to do those habit trackers that were a month long, but being all over the place. Like I'd miss 5 days here or 6 days there. And then I'd get really down on myself because it was all empty instead of having these X's and cross offs
Mm,
and celebrations. So I broke it down just for the week. And it's so much easier to see, like, wow, like I've got some really good habits because I'm not overwhelmed. Like missing 1 or 2 days in a row is not like the whole month. And I put the planner away. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to use that. And now 6 months has gone by. And now I can't use the planner because it's dated for these dates. So this one's
mm,
completely undated. So like each week I can fill in what the dates are. So I can pick it up and then a year from now I can still pick it up and like it'll still be valid. And then with having the habits in like bite-sized chunks, I've been able to get so much more stuff done because I'm not overwhelmed by like the big picture. I'm breaking it down to a much more small, like digestible one. And the habits I've been able to like come into my life in just a couple weeks or like a couple months, I've been so impressed by like some basic stuff, but like I'm like, oh yeah, I need to practice my Portuguese. And then literally I'll just forget about it like for 2 or 3 weeks. But if it's on my list, I'm like, oh, 30 minutes of Portuguese today. And I get on my little app just to keep it fresh. And I'm like, okay, cool. And now I'm like, I can go read the newspaper. And that wasn't something I was like actively trying to do, but just taking that little bit of time has really helped. So yeah, making micro habits easier, I think. So
yeah, I'm really interested to hear about the habit tracker. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And, I specifically think that's interesting because a habit, the tasks to form a habit are very similar to other sorts of tasks you have to do in that they're both tasks, but you must track them very differently, I would guess. But yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about how you develop that? What kinds of things are on there?
yeah, so for me, it's like it's obviously the 7 days of the week. Sunday, I try and have as like my day off of everything, like no chores, no
Mm,
just doing whatever I want to do that makes me happy. So like Sundays doesn't necessarily have all the X's, but like on mine, it's like trying to get up at this certain time, like be up by 8:30 and then do my morning routine. And then it's like write for 1 hour. So it's then I'm still setting across that time to like sit down at my desk and be like, okay, 1 hour of writing or 1 hour of editing if I'm working on editing for that week. So it's I'm putting in my daily chores as well, like things that need to be done, but also my office stuff. So if I need to be posting on social media every day because I have a launch coming up, it's on there, like social media, 30 minutes or post one social media on each thing. So it's a place that I can
mm,
look at the big picture, but on a daily checklist. Like it's just written out for me. I don't have to think about it. I can just go down and be like, excuse me, like, oh, okay, like two needle moving contacts I need to have this week, or I need to email 2 editors to find out if they're like this. I'm like, okay, easy, done. So it's just an easier way to not have it in the daily part, but have it in another section where it's just a checklist that I'm just going down and it's blank.
mm,
So I can write it in the order of like when I wake up. So it's literally just throughout the day going down the checklist. And I could add stuff to it, like at the end and at the bottom, like, oh, vitamins, like, did I take those or something? So it's definitely very customizable to what works for you.
mm.
And you can have as little as much as you want on there. Like this, the note I'm looking at right now is a little overwhelming. There's like 20 things on it, but some of them are just like, tracking my period or doing this social media post or did I do cold exposure? Because I'm trying all these different hacks. So you can see the things I don't like
Mm.
because there'll be one cross and then that's it. It'll never go on the list again.
Right. I'm noticing that some of these things are very writing specific and some of them are seemingly completely unrelated. Do you just put anything you think of there, or do you organize based on like subcategories, or how do you think of that?
So I really look at in my planner, I have like the month as a whole. So I can put all my deadlines in there, like, okay, like this day, this day, this way. And then I look at that when I'm breaking down my weeks, which is usually on a Sunday. I just kind of look at over like the tasks that I need to get done,
Mm,
the deadlines. And then I break down my weekly tasks, like what days I think I'll be good at doing this. And I'll put it in my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on the habit trackers, I can really cater that to like for instance, I have writing for 2 hours because my schedule allowed that to be in there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write for 2 hours this week, but usually it's just for one. Or if I need to reach out to book cover designers to do this, like I could put that on there. Like every day I'm reaching out to one new book cover designer until I find my one. And then say Friday, I have to choose one. So at least I'm
mm,
building instead of waiting until Friday and then calling 6 or 7 people and then being overwhelmed when they all email me at the same time and like getting confused. So it's really easy to really cater it to your needs and it's specifically for your tasks that you're working on. Like if maybe I don't need to write it all, I could be like, okay, I need social media posts for this character, for this character. I need one about what I'm doing this week. And it could be all just social media for that if I'm doing like a batch. So it's really easy to make it customizable, but looking at the bigger picture and then breaking it down into like a weekly goals and then like the daily checklist really has helped with my productivity. And I've gone this year alone, I feel like I've done more work for my author business than I have in like 3 years because of this specific tools. Like I said, it works for me. It took me 5 years to figure it all out, that like what was going to work for me the best. So
Well, I think that's a huge endorsement of its own. More work in 1 year than in the three before it, I think is very attractive as a sell for this. But I'm really getting, this um, different types of breakdowns. You've got this monthly, you've got the weekly, and then you have the habit tracker. And it seems like that kind of diversification allows you to accomplish a lot more different types of things, which I think is very intriguing. And I think a lot of writers could benefit from. Before we say goodbye to our guest, I'm happy to say that this episode is brought to you by Atmosphere Press, the only publisher that puts rewarding and meaningful author experiences above all else. Founded in 2015 by an author and PhD in literature and devoted to serving authors through editorial, design, publication, and promotion, Atmosphere has sold tens of thousands of copies of their authors' books across 6 continents. Visit atmospherepress.com to sign up for Atmosphere's newsletter, The Launchpad, and to learn about submission opportunities, event news, and free book, publicity, and writing residency giveaways. But now I just want to ask Danielle, where should our listeners go to learn more about you and your work, what it is you're doing?
So I'm launching my new website thanks to the tasks at hand and all of this. It's danielleblum.com, DANIELLEBLUM. And then you can also find the planner there for a free download if you're just interested in taking a look and wanting to steal it for your own or just take ideas from it. So that is available. And then I am Danielle Blum on all social media as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Danielle, and thanks to all the listeners for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Right Atmosphere, the Advice for Writers podcast. If you liked what you heard, please leave a review and share this podcast with the writers in your life. And if you're ready to take the next step in your publication journey, visit atmospherepress.com to submit your manuscript for publication consideration or to learn more about writing and what it is that we do. I'm Hala. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.